what is up guys, it's Nagastrike here and I'm back bringing you some more custom Robo content today, focusing on a build guide with this build I dubbed the Dracobat. Now what is this all about? Okay, so this build focuses on the Dragon Gun in combination with the Acrobat Bomb. And now let me point this out, the rest of this build you can customize it however you want, but if you want the Dragon Bomb it has to be paired with the Acrobat Bomb. Because there's an advanced technique called Acro Canceling, and if you don't know what that is, my boy Tipdik has a perfect guide for you on that already. I'm gonna put that on the screen now, so if you guys don't know what Acro Canceling is, please check out this guide before continuing any further, because it is very crucial to this build, and I'm gonna show you why here when I get into the game. So other than that, for the body, I personally choose Metal Bear, and that's because Metal Bear not only gets more Acrobat cancels than any other bot in the game, or, well, the Metal Grappler class in general, excuse me. It could be Metal Bear, Metal Ox, or Metal 8. But any of those, they get more Acro cancels than anybody else in the game, so that's part of the reason why I choose them. And this build's going to really be oriented around pressure, so the extra resistance to being downed is going to be great and perfect for this build, so I really highly suggest Metal Grappler. But you can go with anything to your personal preference, except for Little Raiders. Little Raiders cannot Acrobat cancel. As for your pod, Dragon doesn't quite knock down by itself, so you really want a pod that exerts a lot of pressure. Because you're giving up your bomb, right? Because Acrobat doesn't really pressure your opponent at all. So you really want a pod that pressures. I personally like diving, that's one of my favorite pods. It's good at all ranges, so if you're playing the long range game, pods apply pressure. If they're up close, the pods will apply pressure. And then whatever legs you choose, I choose Feather because in combination with the Acrobat, it actually sends you higher in the air. So you can kind of control your mobility a little bit more and decide whether you want to play like a keep away or not. So let's get into this and actually showcase some things for you guys here. Alright, so let's go ahead and launch out here. So why do you have to Acro Cancel this gun? Let me show you. So if I just stand here like normal and fire, look at that. That is so laggy. See all that time it takes for me to start moving again? That's ridiculous, alright? So with the Acrobat Cancel, you know, boom, boom, fire immediately again. It cancels your end lag on this gun and lets you do whatever you want. So let's talk about some of the more nitty-gritty stats here. So it's gonna be 126 damage up close. But the further you are away, obviously there's damage drop off, and I've gotten it to go as low as 114. And when they're knocked down, you'll do like 38 down to about 32, depending on how far or close you are. And as you can see, it doesn't quite knock down. I've come to the conclusion that it knocks down about 2.25 or 2.5 or 2.75, something like that on the down meter. But the standard pod's pretty much the weakest pod in the game, I think, and it'll knock down after Dragon, so it's somewhere in there. It'll not quite get the job done for a lot of bots. So something to keep in mind when you tag, let me get myself knocked down here. Alright, so when you tag, you see your bot is a little bit it has low opacity there, it's kind of transparent. So when you tag, you're in invincibility frames, so one thing to keep in mind is Acrobat Bomb, even though it doesn't damage you, it still counts as a hit. So when you're invincible, you can't be hit. So if you're ever trying to switch out of a situation and then exert a lot of immediate pressure by firing a dragon, keep in mind, you cannot Acrobat Cancel, because what happens is, I will show you right here. See, I tried to Acro Cancel, but I was still in invincibility frames, so my Acrobat doesn't go off and my gun just fires like normal, and then I'm stuck there and lag. And the lag is so bad that it lasts until after I'm done being invincible. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Whenever you get downed and you tag out of pressure, you can't do much in terms of shooting your gun. Because if you do, and you miss, well, my friend, you're gonna eat a full combo for that. Because now you can't tag, and you're not invincible, and you're in lag. So unless your opponent just isn't ready for it, or you don't miss and you get lucky, then your opponent can definitely capitalize on that, unless they're bad or not ready. So that's something to keep in mind there. So with the Dragon Gun, this is definitely a pressure build, like I said. Of course, you want to be up close because you get the extra damage. There's no damage fall off there, and let me just showcase this really quick. So obviously the closer, the more damage you're gonna get. But one great thing about Dragon is that, like, the damage fall off isn't that much, right? So it's only 12 points difference from point blank to full screen away. So really, you can shoot wherever you want. And check this out, like, it's got just great homing. So pretty much, my strat to do with this gun is I like to start off with I like to Acro Cancel a shot, right? So that's got great homing, and you know, it's like gonna go get him. And then you're free to like do whatever you want in the air. I like to personally send out one or both of my diving pods. And then, you know, I just kind of see what they do. So like, you know, they do a shot, then I might air dash around it, fire another dragon to punish. You know, they're trying to play safe. I might air dash back behind a wall, send out a second diving pod. You know, the possibilities are endless. You can really just do whatever you want because your opponent is the one that's under pressure. So you can kind of just sit there and wait to see what they do and react to it. And if you're playing Metal Bear, definitely don't be afraid to go for trades, because that's part of the reason why I picked these Metal Grapplers. They're so good at trading, and with the Dragon Gun, since it exerts so much pressure and it doesn't white knock down, that usually means that your opponent might get the better of a trade off of you, since it doesn't quite knock down. But with the Metal Grapplers, just having that extra resistance there, that helps out a ton with trading. So really, you know, you can just kind of play your own game. Your opponent is the one that has to react. But with it being such a slow gun, if they do happen to get around it, you're very vulnerable. So that's really why Acrobat Canceling is so important to this build. But like I said, you guys can kind of play around with whatever bots you want, whatever pods you want, and kind of do it to your own liking. Even the legs too, really. You can do whatever you want there. So some other options I would consider. So the Rayo ones, the Shining Fighter models, these have the fastest ground speed out of anything that can Acro Cancel, because Little Raiders cannot, keep in mind. So if you really want to play more of a grounded game, I'd recommend you go with like a Rayo 1 build, and I would change your legs to maybe like quick jump or wide jump, or even stabilizer if you really want to stay grounded. Other than that, I don't really advise a lot of the other bots. So like Strike Vanishers, they're not the best with Acro Canceling. They already have their own kind of niche roles. These guys, I mean, it's kind of meh. It's kind of the same thing as the Strike Vanisher. They kind of have like their own little niche role there. Breaker, Defender, Seeker, the Lightning Skies, they're not that great at Acro Canceling in my opinion. Because, or well, for this one is specifically for Dragon, because, you know, they really want to rely on their air dash when firing, and you can throw out your bombs and pods to add pressure while you're air dashing with your gun. Dragon's so laggy you can't really do anything other than Dragon, and you don't have a bomb since you gave up for Acrobat. So really all you can do with the air dash is pod there, and that's not worth it. Funky Big Heads are a decent choice if you want, but they just don't have as much trade potential as the Metal Grapplers. So I would advise this for other styles of play. I would advise Metal Grapplers more for the pressure. Little Raiders can't Acro Cancel, obviously, can't pick those. Aerial Beauties, I mean, they're decent. They go pretty high up, but if you do want to use one of these, I would definitely recommend using Wide Jump, because they just can't really control a lot of space in the air. So it's very easy for you to get shot out of what you're trying to do. And then last but not least, we have good old Chicken Heart here. Chicken Heart's definitely a great bot for pressuring. However, I think there are better options if you want to play this body. So that about does it. Definitely play Rail 1 if you want to stay on the ground, or one of the Metal Grapplers if you want one of the more trading pressure-oriented potentials that doesn't rely too heavily on being on the ground. So that about does it for this build guide, and I definitely hope you guys enjoyed and you learned something new today. So if you did, please like and subscribe to me, guys. I guarantee you guys will get more custom Robo content in the future, and I will teach you guys everything I can to help you guys get into this game. Please join our Discord. Shoutouts to my guy Tipdik, subscribe to him as well. Everything counts, guys. Let's build this community. Let's go. Until next time.